So ReZero Season 2 Episode 1 has officially begun. This is going to be one hell of a ride. It's already crystal clear. I mean, we jump in pretty much exactly where Season 1 ends off, and I was pretty interested in seeing how they're going to kick off Season 2 because we had the director's cut, which more or less was just like the combined episodes 1 and 2, and they basically did 2 episodes in one, added in a couple of extra scenes, but I was so curious, like, would they start off episode 1 of this season with how the director's cut ends? And they did, which is surprising because I'm still very curious about who this Rem character is. I mean, it's kind of weird to drop a very important character to your main lead that apparently is making him cry, which is like, why are you crying over this blue-haired chick who we've never met up until... I'm just joking, obviously. Everyone's gonna make the joke, but you gotta make the joke. It hurts like a bitch, okay? It really does. Especially seen by how you knew when he killed himself he was gonna reset to that wagon, but I'm really happy to see what the direction they took. Not everyone's going to have watched the director's cut, and also it just serves as the perfect intro because you end season 1 with basically a very romantic, like, yes, it's a great victory, and then you kick it off by being like, hey, I want to thank my mom, I want to thank you, gotta thank Rem, but hey, you know, Rem kind of admitted that she loves me the way I love you, so how is this relationship gonna work? And then you just drop it with Who's Rem. Now for me, I willingly looked at that spoiler of Who's Rem because I knew something was supposed to happen at the end of the season 1, and for some novel readers they found that be like, oh no, they should have dropped this with that cliffhanger, but no, they cut it off at the appropriate moment in season 1 because you don't want to leave people off for 4 years on Who's Rem. You want to do that with the director's cut, which they flawlessly did. To me, it's such a powerful moment because it doesn't take away from the victory, but it still stings like a bitch. And I honestly was interested to see how that whole dilemma was going to work because one of the best parts of season 1 was Rem's confession and how she inspired Subaru to be the person that she loves, to not give in and just settle for her, but to fight for what he believes in and not run away. So by basically putting him into a save point where Rem is erased from the memories of people, what are you supposed to do with that? And back when season 1 ended, I willingly looked up that spoiler. I mean, I'm not sure if I would have been spoiled on Who's Rem had I not done it, but I just wanted to see because I was like curious where they would go from there. Honestly, I'm still seeing people get shocked by this spoiler, and it makes me happy because it is goddamn spectacular. The way they end the episode is honestly one of the most refreshing and rewarding things I think ReZero has done, and it shows that it isn't just going to be a show that mindlessly puts you into a suffering state of mind, but rather says, hey, this is gonna sting like a bitch, but there is going to be progression. The fact that we've reached a point that has a save point where Amelia can look at Subaru and see that he does care because there hasn't been these resets, he's not acting rash and just doing things and expecting her to understand what he's been through because she hasn't experienced that timeline. The fact that she was able to comfort him and say, hey, you know, you've done a lot for me, let me shoulder your burden. Clearly, this person was in my life, and clearly she means a hell of a lot to you. Let me help you. I love that because I honestly was getting the suspicion that Subaru was just going to be in a mindless state of just pain and despair, would try to tackle it alone. After a few episodes, he would realize his mistakes, and it would be basically what happened up until Rem kind of comforted him back at episode 18-ish or 21, wherever the hell it was in the first season. It's something that I thought was going to happen despite trusting in ReZero's character writing, but the fact that they just said no, it's understandable why he would be like this, but there's a reason for Amelia to want to help him based on everything that he just did for her, and that is so damn refreshing. It definitely helps that basically the entire squad lost their memory, so it's very understanding that he doesn't look like a crazy person saying, hey, no, this is Rem, she was one of your mates, she is the sister of Ram. She looks nearly identical to Ram minus the hair color, so it's like, I'm glad the characters are responding intelligently while still making us want to curl up and cry. I just thought the entire build-up of the conversation of you think it's gonna go all fine, and even after seeing it a second time, the Who's Rem stings like an absolute bitch. I didn't know what the hell was going to happen because I didn't know how Rem was basically erased from the memories because the whale was dead. I just knew it happened. So to actually see the combat where our girl loses an arm, which is like, okay, that's bad enough, and then you wipe her memory, and then seemingly I thought she died. Like, I thought it was like literally a death and then erasing, which I was like, there's no way to come back from that unless you somehow can like change space and time itself. So I was happy with the two archbishops that we see, because one is absolutely horrifying on a visual level, and another looks fairly normal in the grand scheme of things, but still both are just complete and utter scum, and that's what you want to see. You might have killed a whale. The whale was just a pet for them. This is already shaping up to be mind-blowing. It's crystal clear, just based on the combat that we've seen. Rem at her full capacity, our girl Krish, that should have been at least a little bit of something, but they were doing it like it was a gust of wind. It's really impressive to me that they escalated while not taking away from the actual victory that Season 1 ends off on. The whale was a monster in itself, and even though you introduce something more powerful than that monster, it still feels like you did a good thing. Had that whale still been able to attack them randomly, it would have felt hopeless. Imagine having to go up against the whale and these two bastards. Hell no. Absolutely not. Turn off ReZero, go watch some slice of life anime at that point in time. But because we had that victory, seeing these people, it's like, how the hell are you going to defeat it? Especially when they can literally either erase your memory, or erase your memory and then erase the memory from other people, and basically making you a husk. It seems to me like the objective is kill these bastards and hopefully the memories will go back in. Time will tell, I guess. That was painful enough, and then to see our girl, I mean, at least she's walking around, she's not Rem comatose, but still, the fact that she's talking so casually, not the strong woman that we've come to know, it hurt. It really did, especially considering that Subaru has so much on his mind. But the little meeting that came after, I understood everyone's perspective there. Some people say, oh, this really rubbed me the wrong way. Why would you want to cancel the alliance after everything that's happened? But if we reverse the situation, I'm pretty sure Subaru would be saying the same damn thing if it was to protect Amelia. Why would I do this? Even though I really do like you as friends, or you helped me out, you're literally the cause that the witch is coming towards us. Or at least from their perspectives, that's what it looks like. So I really did like the back and forth. Obviously, our boy Will was never going to be like, oh yeah, you know, Willem, we're just going to say, you know what, Subaru, you did me good. I got revenge for my wife's murder. I'm just going to, you know, say goodbye. No, he's not going to. And it was kind of interesting that even with the memories erased and the personality seemingly complete polar opposite to what we've understood with her character, Krish was actually able to, you know, still be herself and inspire the confidence despite having no confidence in herself. And that's what's really great. It kind of shows you that even if your memories are erased from this world, the core characteristics of you is always going to live deep down inside in some way, and depending on the situation can really blossom into something that I think the characters in general need, that, you know, this is still the person you know and love, and we're still going to fight for that change and try to get revenge on those who have wronged us. It just feels like the overall flow, like it helped that, I think this episode was like 28 minutes. It helped that it was a longer episode for sure, because it didn't feel like anything was being rushed through. Sure, you could have just like cut the beginning because it was in the director's cut to make it flow in a normal length episode, but I'm glad they didn't. It actually had a very steady progression. It sped past some things, like saying who's Rem, and then the franticness and just the struggle of once again seeing our boy break down trying to stab himself. It was absolutely heartbreaking and just, it was horrifying. It absolutely was. And then you slow it down with just bedside conversations and tabletop meetings where we're like, hey, the alliance is still an important conversation even if Rem is in a comatose state, to then just, you know, something that he needed, a shoulder to cry on, or in this case, hey, turn away so I can cry, and then she hugs him from behind. Like, it is so comforting, and it shows you that there is progression, and it isn't just a show that's pick your favorite waifu, Rem versus Amelia. That doesn't matter. It's Subaru's mindset and how he evolves and shatters and comes back to stronger but also weaker every single time. And it's good to see that even with Rem out of commission, Amelia was able to kind of like grow because the save point actually happened. All the times that Amelia kind of reverted back and people said like she had no personality and like why wasn't she like supporting Subaru, she barely knew him with those resets, only Subaru remembered. But it's really nice to see a point where she does remember all the good that he's done for her, because he did a hell of a lot, and it's nice to see that he's not going to be alone shouldering this, especially considering just how much Rem does mean to him. This episode was phenomenal. Voice acting on point. Subaru's Japanese voice actor has always blown me away. I feel like he is Subaru and then some. I mean, I wonder how much saliva and tears and just sweat is on his microphone by the time he ends recording, especially in episodes like these. The music was very spot on as well, especially in the creepy or just really heart-sunken scenes. It's so good, and the thing that has always stood out the most on the production side outside of Subaru's voice acting is the body language. Subaru for as little and as much as he did like sink in this episode, just seeing his spine almost like just break and just shatter, the shaking of the knife, there's so many great moments, and you know we're in for one hell of a ride. But of course, as always, let me know your thoughts and feelings on ReZero Season 2 Episode 1 down below. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like to show your support. Remember to hit that subscribe button if you haven't been around here. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.